Pisces, there is someone who is afraid to fall asleep tonight. Not because they miss you in a simple way, not because they want you back, but because the silence reminds them of something they lost that can never be replaced. There is someone who once had access to your inner world. Someone who was allowed into the quiet, sacred space where your emotions live. Someone who felt what it was like to be seen without judgment, understood without explanation, held without conditions. And now, that person is living with the realization that they will never experience that kind of connection again. This is not about regret in the usual sense. This is about fear. Fear of emptiness. Fear of never again feeling emotionally safe. Fear of having crossed paths with a soul that only comes once in a lifetime and failing to recognize it. Pisces, the universe is revealing something to you now, not to reopen wounds, not to stir resentment, but to finally bring closure at the deepest level of your being. What I'm about to share will help you understand why things happen the way they did, why that person feels unsettled now, and most importantly, what this means for the next chapter of your life. Because when the universe releases a Pisces from an energetic bond, it doesn't just end a connection. It rewrites destiny. The moment you heard this message, a feeling moved through you. Not a clear thought, not a specific memory, just a subtle emotional pull. That's how Pisces receives truth. Through intuition, through sensation, through the quiet knowing that something resonates before the mind can explain why. You may not consciously think about this person often anymore. You may even believe you've moved on completely. But somewhere in your energetic field, a story has been reaching its final pages. And today, the universe is closing that book for good. There was a time when you gave more than words. You gave presence. You gave understanding. You gave patience when others would have walked away. You listened when no one else cared to hear. You held space for emotions that weren't even yours to carry. And you did it naturally, instinctively, because this is who you are. Pisces doesn't love halfway. Pisces doesn't connect on the surface. When you open your heart, you open your soul. And the person who hurt you didn't just hurt your feelings. They disrupted a sacred exchange. They took emotional refuge inside you and then treated it as if it were ordinary. They leaned on your empathy, your intuition, your emotional intelligence, and once they felt stronger, once they felt safer, once they felt healed enough, they turned away. At the time, they didn't understand what they were doing. They thought they were just moving on, making choices, doing what felt right for them. They didn't realize they were walking away from the only place where they were truly seen. And now, that realization has arrived. For Pisces born between February 19th and February 28th, this person was someone who depended on you emotionally. Someone who came to you during a vulnerable period of their life. Someone who drew strength from your compassion but lacked the maturity to reciprocate it. For Pisces born between March 1st and March 10th, this was a romantic connection or deep friendship where you gave unconditional understanding, only to be taken for granted once your presence became familiar. And for Pisces born between March 11th and March 20th, this person may be a family member or karmic connection who dismissed your intuition, minimized your emotions, or judged your sensitivity without realizing it was your greatest strength. No matter who they were, the pattern is the same. They received healing energy and mistook it for something they could find anywhere. Now they know better. Pisces, there is a universal law that governs emotional exchange. When someone receives genuine empathy without giving it back, a debt is created. Not a debt of punishment, but a debt of awareness. And the universe always collects. The person who hurt you is now living in emotional isolation, surrounded by people, yet deeply alone, engaging in conversations that feel empty, forming connections that lack depth, trying to recreate something they once had, without understanding why everything now feels shallow. They meet people who listen, but not like you listened. They meet people who care, but not like you cared. They meet people who are present, but not with the quiet devotion you offered. And slowly, painfully, the truth settles in. They didn't lose you because of bad timing. They didn't lose you because of circumstances. They lost you because they didn't know how to protect something sacred. This realization doesn't come all at once. It arrives in waves. Late at night, in moments of stillness, in those quiet seconds before sleep, when distractions fade and the mind can no longer escape itself. That's when your energy appears, not as a memory they can relive, but as a presence they can no longer reach. They remember how safe they felt around you, how they could be vulnerable without fear. how you understood their silence, how you sensed what they needed without being told. And the awareness hits them with unbearable clarity. They let go of the only person who truly saw them. This is not about them wanting you back. This is about them realizing that what they lost cannot be replaced. Pisces, your energy is not something that can be replicated. It is not learned. It is not performed. It is not copied. It is an extension of your soul. And once someone experiences it and loses it, everything else feels artificial in comparison. This is why the universe's justice for Pisces is subtle but profound. The person who hurt you is not punished with chaos. They are punished with emptiness, with the inability to feel emotionally fulfilled, with the haunting awareness that something essential is missing from their life. And the most painful part for them is this. They know exactly why. They know it was their impatience, their emotional blindness, their inability to value what they had when it was given freely. They try to justify it. They tell themselves stories. They say they did the best they could, that they weren't ready, that it wasn't meant to last. But their conscience doesn't accept these excuses, because deep down, they know the truth. They failed someone rare. Pisces, while all of this is happening on their side, something equally powerful is happening within you. A cord that once bound your energy to theirs is dissolving, not through pain, but through awareness. For a long time, part of your emotional energy remained tied to that connection. Not because you wanted them back, but because Pisces feels deeply and unresolved emotional bonds linger in the subconscious. You may have carried a subtle heaviness, a sense of emotional fatigue, a feeling that something was unfinished. Now, that weight is lifting. You may notice that when you think of this person, there is no longer a sharp emotion attached. No anger, no longing, no sadness, just neutrality, distance, a gentle sense of completion. This is the moment of energetic release. The universe is not reconnecting you. It is freeing you. And when a Pisces is freed, something extraordinary happens. Creativity returns. Intuition sharpens. Emotional clarity emerges. You begin to feel like yourself again, not the version of you that was trying to heal others, but the version that exists to live, to feel, to create, to love without sacrifice. This shift may feel subtle at first. A deeper breath, a lighter chest, a renewed sense of inspiration. But soon, it will become unmistakable. You will feel drawn toward new possibilities, new connections, new environments that nourish your spirit instead of draining it. And here is the most important truth you need to hear, Pisces. You were never meant to stay in that situation. You were not abandoned. You were released. The person who hurt you did not break you. They revealed your strength. They showed you how much you were capable of giving, and in doing so, taught you the importance of discernment. Because Pisces, your compassion is powerful, but it is not meant to be given to everyone. The universe placed you in that connection as a teacher, not in a conscious way, but in an energetic one. You showed that person what unconditional presence feels like. You gave them a reference point they will carry for the rest of their life. And now that the lesson has been delivered, your role is complete. They will spend years searching for what they once had with you, not realizing that the reason they cannot find it is because it was never meant to be found again. It was a gift, not a guarantee. Every future relationship they enter will be compared, consciously or unconsciously, to you, and most will fall short. Not because others are inadequate, but because what you offered was extraordinary, and you will not even be aware of it. Because while they look back, you will be moving forward. You will begin to attract people who meet you where you are, who respect your emotional depth, who don't confuse your sensitivity with weakness, who don't take your empathy for granted. You will feel seen again, but this time, without overextending yourself, without carrying emotional weight that isn't yours, without sacrificing your inner peace. The universe is teaching you reciprocity now, not through words, but through experience. You are learning to recognize who has the capacity to give back what you offer. And this discernment will protect you in ways you cannot yet imagine. Pisces, the person who hurt you will sense this shift. They may reach out. They may test the waters. They may try to reconnect, not because they deserve another chance, but because they feel the absence of your energy so deeply that it unsettles them. And when that happens, you will notice something surprising. You won't feel pulled back. You won't feel tempted. You won't feel the need to explain or reopen the past. You will simply know that chapter is closed. And that quiet certainty will be your victory. Not revenge. Not validation from them. but peace. The universe is preparing you for something aligned with your soul. A connection that does not require you to heal, save, or sacrifice yourself. A bond built on mutual understanding, emotional maturity, and genuine reciprocity. And when it arrives, you will finally understand why you had to lose what you lost. Because what is coming cannot coexist with what drained you. Pisces, the person who hurt you is living with the consequence of losing access to your inner world. And that consequence is permanent. You, on the other hand, are stepping into a phase of emotional liberation, of clarity, of renewed faith in yourself. And as you move forward, lighter and more whole than before, the universe whispers a simple truth. You were never too much. You were just too real for someone who wasn't ready. If this message resonated deeply within you, allow yourself to acknowledge it. You don't need to explain anything. Just let the universe know you received it. Your next chapter is already unfolding.